All right, so the second question in 2015 paper, the part 2, consider the following spreadsheet segment given some statistics related to the certain education indicators for Sri Lanka. So like in the Excel sheet, there are like data is spread on 4 columns, which is regarding the first column is the item, and the BCD shows the figures in 2008, 2010, and 2013. And if you look at furthermore, like it is describing about the total schools, the total students, and the total teachers, all right? So you have to be very careful when you are working with this question, because all your the totaling part is happening at the top of the criteria. So like as an instant, like total of these 3 indicates over here, right? It's not the way that we generally do the calculations. We generally take the total to its bottom, but here it is the way they have planned it. So, and the first one is saying, asking what is the single spreadsheet function. They're asking about the single spreadsheet function that can be used in cell B3 to display the total number of schools for 2008. So they are talking about this cell B3, right? So, and they are asking for the total number of schools in 2008. So that means the total of these 3 is going to be there in this cell. So it is easy, and they are asking about a function. So we have to use a function. So you can say it is equal sum. You can say B4 colon B6, or else you can say equal sum the other way around, B6 colon B4 as well, all right? And as well as you can use equal sum B6 comma B5 comma B4. That is also correct, right? So you can take, let's go through the marking schema as well to see whether any particular way they have given marks for this. Yeah, so yes, we have to figure out the markings because I have taken this from a past paper book. So yes, so you got 4 parts over here and 6 parts over here, right? So like, yeah, let's take 2 marks for this. 2 marks for this. And in part B, they ask it, what will be the formula displayed in C3 if the formula in B3 is copied to C3? So that means you are going to copy it to this point. So there is no any absolute cell references. So when you copy it, it's going to be equal sum. It's C4 colon C6, right? So it will copy relatively, right? So since it is moving to its right hand side, the column headers will be changed. No changes regarding the row headers because it's the same row that we are copying, right? So as well as if you copy the other 2 ways, it goes the same way. So if you got it correctly, you may take 2 marks for that as well. Then the C part, it says student teacher ratio. It's about the government schools. It's calculated by dividing the number of students in the government school. It says number of students in government schools by the total number of teachers in government schools. What is the formula to be written in cell B14, to display the student-teacher ratio in 2008? So to take things, the student-teacher ratio in 2008, you need total students of government school. Right now, be very careful, like total students in government school, it is indicated over here. It's not the total students, which is given by the one at the top of the green color box, right? So it's the government school total we need, and the government school teachers. So this is the other place that we have to refer. So student divided by teacher in the government school. So we need, the column is B. So it's going to be B8 divided by B12, right? So the equation is going to be equals B8 divided by B12. That is going to be the answer for the C part. So let's take 1 mark for that. All right, and yeah, and yeah, not 1. Let's go with the 2, so it will be easier for us to maintain. And in part D, it says suggest a more suitable graph type to show the comparison between number of government schools, private schools, and PVNs for the given 3 years. So if we are going to compare like more than one particular criteria, or like more than one particular component in a Excel, it's definitely either it's going to be a bar chart, or we can use a column chart. All right, so any one of those will give you a 1 mark. Okay, people, is that clear up to this point? Right, great. Okay, let's move forward. The second part is asking about state whether the following statement regarding spreadsheets are true or false. You may require to write only the statement number A to F and true and false. So the autofill facility can be used to copy a formula to a range of adjacent cells. Yeah, so that's a true. Because when you have written a particular formula in a cell, when you use the autofill facility or the fill handler, it will copy it relatively. Text entries in cells get right aligned automatically by default. Text entries, it's going to be left aligned, right? Not the right aligned. Right alignment is given to the values. So this is a false statement. Text type things will be in the left side of the cell. It is possible to get cell borders to appear in spreadsheet printout. Yes, if we enable the borders, it is possible. So it is true. It is possible to hide rows and columns in spreadsheet. Yes, we can hide the rows and columns. Like if you click on a particular row header and right click on a particular row header or a column header, you will be given the option to hide in the right click menu that you are going to receive. So which is a true statement. By pressing Control Home keys, the cursor is moved to cell A1. Yeah, that's also a true statement. It comes to the very first cell, which is A1, when you press Control Home. When Control Page Up keys are pressed, the active cell jumps to the next worksheet. No, not to the next worksheet. It will scroll the page by one particular one. Hold on, control page up. That actually I need to check. Hold on, people. Let me see how it's going to work. Let's go with the, yes, it's a false statement. So A is true, B is false, C is true, D is true, E is true, and F is a false one. Yeah. So this is the way that you are going to receive the true and false things. So you may take 0.5 for each correct place. So altogether it will give 3 marks. Then you can calculate your total by 10. Okay. Now, who got full marks for this? Anyone? Very good, Anitra. Yes, how about others? 9 out of 10? Okay, Minha, that's good. 8 out of 10? Very good, Dulabi. All right, Binadi, that's great. Bisandi, very good. Great, people, great. Okay, keep it up, keep it up. Right, so I'm moving to the third one, the database question. The XYZ Sports is a shop that sells sport items which are supplied to the shop by several suppliers. The shop maintains a database with 3 tables. To store the items currently in stock, their suppliers and items purchased for the suppliers are shown below. So they are maintaining 3 particular tables. One shows the items, how many that they have, those kind of items. So they have an item ID, the I name to indicate the item name, and the stock, the quantity in hand in the shop. And the supply tables are there. They have given a supply ID to a particular supplier and their name and the phone number is there. And the purchase table. So these purchasers are defined like purchasers for the yeah. People just excuse me for a moment. Right, sorry for that. And the last table is talking about the date, the supply ID, and the item ID, and the count that they have purchased. Now, this purchasers means the shop is purchasing from its suppliers. It is not about the sales people, it's about the like purchasing from the supplier, right? Okay, so the first question goes with list 2 primary key fields and their table names in the above database system. So we can clearly identify the item table has its primary key as item ID, because item ID has the characteristics for a primary key. So it is not been repeated, and it is not been empty. It's not null, right? So to become a primary key, those things should be there. The value should be unique, and it must contain a value, right? It cannot be empty. And for the supplier table, it's the supplier ID. And now when it comes to the purchase table, we can't take date, even though the date is different from each other. There can be a particular, like there can be, it's possible to have a purchase, have like more than one purchase from a one particular date, right? So it's not very much clear, like the date is going to be a unique one. What we can suggest is supply item and the supply ID and the item ID together, because supply ID alone cannot be, it is not unique. Item ID alone is not unique. So together we can consider those two can be performed something unique. But still there can be arguments, like we can purchase some particular item from some particular supplier 2 times in a one single date. All right, so in that case, it will be a problem of proposing a primary key to this particular thing. But it's clear with the item table and the supplier table. So it is much better if you go for those kind of scenarios. All right, so in the marking scheme, they have suggested 2, item ID and supply ID, and you have to write the particular table name as well, because the question is asking on that manner. List 2 primary key fields and their table name. So it is important. So if you have listed correctly, you can take 2 marks for that, right? 1 mark for each primary key and the table. The second one says the shop decides to add new item, tennis balls, and purchase 30 of them from the supplier Rita on the date 22/9. So it's purchasing new item, tennis ball. It's a new item, right? They purchase 30 from the supplier Rita on 22nd of September. Right? So what table or tables need to be updated for this event? So since it is a new one, we need to update the item table, because that new item should be arranged or like insert into the item table. As well as, since it is a purchasing, it needs to be done, needs to be update the purchase as well. And that supply is already in the supply table, so we are not going to do anything with the supply. Write down the new records in the relevant tables. So for item, it's going to be in the item table. It's going to be P05, comma, tennis balls. It's better you follow the exact spellings that they are going to give. And they are purchasing 30. Right? And in the purchase table, the date is 22nd of 9. It is taken by the Rita, so the supplier ID is S02. The item ID is P05, since it is a new one. And the count, it's going to be the 30, because they are purchasing 30, right? So since they have purchased a 30, the quantity or the stock value is going to be 30 as well as the count is going to be 30, right? So if you got these things correct, let's see how the marks are going to go. So it's better we, let me guess. Yeah, for this, you may take 2 marks. And for one particular thing, you take 1 mark. And for this, again, 1 mark. All right, so for the first item, I have given you 2 marks as well. Okay, and the third part says, a customer buys 1 volleyball and 1 bat. What table or tables needs to be updated for this event? Write down the update records in the relevant table. So a customer buys 1 volleyball and 1 bat. Now, from the above 3 tables, when customer buying something, their stock is going to reduce, right? So the stock indicates in the item table. So supplier table will not be affected by this because it is nothing about the supplier, as well as purchase table is not going to affect from this because it describes the purchasing from the suppliers, not the purchases of the customers, right? So only one table, item table. So item table, you can take 2 marks for that. And write down the updated record to the relevant table. So he's purchasing a volleyball and a bat. So then the volleyball one is going to be what? P04 volleyball. Instead of 10, you should write 9. That is going to be the first update line. So I'll write it over here. So the P04 volleyball 9 it's going to be, since that one buys a 1 volleyball and 1 bat, and the other one is P02 bat 24, right? So for these 2 things, I'll give you 2 marks for each part. Right, so hold on. I think I have not 2 marks, people. It's like 1 mark. This is 1, and for this it is 1. Right, so for the part A, 2 marks. For the part B, 1 mark, 1 mark. So altogether, it will create you a 10. Right, so see how much you got out of 10. Very good, Meena. Very good, Anitra. Most of you are going to the full marks now. Keep it up. Keep it up. Binadi, well done. Visandi, well done. Samadhi, yeah, only 1 to go. Huh? Learn the mistakes, people, so you can reach the 10 out of 10 very easily. All right. Moving to the third one, moving to the fourth one. Assume that your friend says, telemedicine is taking medicine from home by contacting a doctor over a phone. Explain why your friend's statement is incorrect. So they have decided, so like it is an incorrect statement. So they're asking why it is incorrect, and they're saying write down an example to illustrate the correct use of telemedicine. Minul, like when it comes to the marking scheme, Pudha, like if the updating, I think you are referring to the updating part, like the third part. So it's okay for you to write only the updating record, right? Yeah. So you don't need to write the entire table, Minul. Right. So mentioning about the headers won't be a problem, but they are just asking for the record. So writing just the record will be okay. Like this. Got it, Minul? Yeah. Like it will be okay. It will be okay, Minul. They want. Right. Now in the next 2-3 papers, you will see that they are giving you the way to write. When the question is asked, they will say, okay, you write it in this format. So you are not going to reduce the mark, right? No worries, no worries. Okay, now why that particular statement is wrong? Because it's not just connecting with a medical professional over the phone, right? In telemedicine, there should be a caretaker or a particular person who has the medical abilities, right, with the patient, right? So someone in the health sector which has the experience of this in the medical field must be there with the patient. It's not just a patient is calling or like contacting the medical professional over a phone and getting things done, right? So that should be the logic, or like that should be the argument that you should make, right? So they have given a model answer. You should have that idea in your answer, right? The medical professional should monitor the patient condition to obtain the reliable information about the patient's condition. Medication cannot be prescribed without those information. That necessity can be fulfilled by only contacting through phones with the medication, right? That idea should be there. And the example they have given, like a general example, not that a real-time one with real-time things. So they have given a general example, like medical professional monitors the patient's condition at the regional center or the nursing home or a rural hospital. That medical professional obtain the medical advice or prescription from the medical practitioner remotely over the phone. So there should be always an experienced person with the patient to receive those kind of things. Okay, is that clear, everyone? Why that particular statement is wrong? Okay, so in case if you want the model answer, I'll give you a minute to copy this thing. if anyone need to copy this. So I'll continue after a minute. Okay, so let's move forward. The second one says, someone says that he installed a virus scanner on his home computer 6 months ago and that he has never had internet access at home. Explain why his computer may not have protection from a new virus attack. So there can be many reasons for this. Since it does not have the internet access, if the virus guard is not being updated, generally the virus guard is being updated over the internet. So if he does not have the internet connection for 6 months, so most probably his virus guard is in a position which is not being updated for 6 months. So it won't be able to recognize the newly created viruses or worms or the malwares. So it may not recognize new kind of malwares when it is being trying to enter into the system. And again, another way of getting the malwares into the computer system is internet. But no internet connection or not being connected with the internet does not mean that there is no other ways that a virus can be come into the system. So using a particular external devices or a particular storage devices, it is possible for a particular malware to get inside the system, right? So those kind of explanation can be taken. So here they have given a model answer, even though he did not have internet access. There are ways of infecting his computer. This happens because his virus definition database is not updated or commercial virus scanner may be expired, right? So that kind of a explanation, right? An explanation which has that particular idea will give you 2 marks, right? Because it is having 5 particular questions. So each and every part is going to give you 2 marks. So the third one asks, explain one ethical issue related to the use of personal information stored on an information system, your answer should include one example to illustrate an unethical act related to privacy of information. So they are talking about the ethical issues, right? So ethical issues, yeah. Okay, so ethical issues can be illustrated like this: misuse of personal information, which is under one's own responsibility. A person who may authorize access to the personal information stored in a computer system provides this information without a permission from owners of the information to another unauthorized party. So misuse of personal information. And the other one can be taken accessing and sharing personal information with another party without the owner's knowledge, right? So the misuse and the accessing part without the permission, right? So those two facts can be discussed, right? And can be taken. So if you got that kind of a solution or that kind of a answer, you can have 2 marks for that. So moving to the 4th one, they are asking your friend says that he does not need to back up his data as he has installed a firewall. Do you agree with him? State reasons for your answer. It's like just being installed with a firewall. Firewall will definitely give the protection to the data, but it does not mean your data can not be loose, right? So your data can be lost due to some other particular factors, like firewall will not prevent a high voltage into your computer. So due to that, your hard disk or your computer can be burned, right? Or like due to a hardware problems, hardware failures, your hard disk may have bad sectors, or the your hard disk can be corrupted, right? So in those cases, it's better we have backups. So we can use in such cases if we have a backup, right? So we cannot agree what our friend says for the moment, right? Due to those kind of reasons. So here they have given the firewall does not fulfill the need for data backup, and it's better you explain it simply. Even though the firewall is been installed, it will protect the data, but it won't like, yeah, you can say it will not, like, without how we are going to match is even though a firewall is being installed into your computer system, it can protect the data, but not always, right? There can be many reasons, like natural disasters, like high voltage problems, like human errors, like deleting the files by a mistake. Those cannot be prevented by using just a firewall, right? So it's better we have backups. So that kind of a explanation should be there. And in the 5th part, they are asking, provide 2 reasons why one should not use pirate software. Your answer should show issues related to the pirated softwares or the pirate softwares. Yeah, the very obvious answer is it is illegal. That is why we can't use pirated softwares, as well as it is an unethical thing, as well as pirate softwares in most of the times can contain malwares, right, which can spread into your system and may ruin your system. Okay, so if you got any things to be correct over these answers, I'll give you 2 to 3 minutes for you to go through these answers. Then after, I'm going to talk about the fifth one. All right, so let's move to the next question. It's about the system. So the fifth question: assume that the monthly payment for the T plugin employees in a T state are calculated based on the weight of T leaves that they pluck daily. The payment process is performed manually at the present, and it is proposed to automate the process. State 2 methods that can be used to understand the requirements of proposed system if the above process is to be automated. So in simple terms, that they are asking, what are the ways of identifying the requirement, which is for the system, which is going to be built newly, right? So you can have interviews, you can have discussions, questionnaires, observations, document reviewing, document sampling, kind of things. So any particular one answer will give you the marks for that. All right, so yeah, I'll give you 2 marks. They're asking for 2 methods, so it's better you go with 2 methods. So any particular method from the first part. So the second question is, write down the input data and the output information of the proposed system. Input data and the output information. So they are going to input what? The weight of the tea leaves. Weight of the tea leaves is going to be the input. So the payment regarding the tea leaves is going to be the output. Right, and Yeah, input weight of the leaves per each day and employee ID name, weight of tea leaves plucked by each person per day. And the output is going to be monthly payment, salary, wages for employees. Likewise, it's going to be. And again, 2 marks, 1 mark for the input and 1 marks for the output. And in part C, it says unit testing is one testing method that can be used to test the above system. Write one another testing method. So other than the unit testing, we have integrated testing, we have system testing, and we have acceptance testing. All right. And in part C, so for writing one testing method, you can have 2 marks. In part D, it is asking the newly developed software can be deployed using either a parallel implementation or direct implementation. Which method would you use? State one reason for your recommendation. So if you are given 2 testing methods with the like it displays here, the direct and the parallel. So direct is good to experience the new system abilities, but in case of a trouble in the new system, direct implementation is not a good way of implementing a new system. So if we compare the direct with the parallel means, right? So the parallel implementation is the one which is much suitable for most of the systems, because in case any particular error happens with the new system, still the old system is functioning very well. Right, so it's better we go with the parallel implementation. So the reason is we got a backup in case of a problem in the new system. All right, then they are asking you to order some particular thing, right? So say, assume that you want to find the information on environment conversation from the internet. The relevant activities involved are given in the list below. Write down then given activities to the correct order. Right, so connect to the internet using the relevant software, enter environment conversation as the search text, log into the computer, open up a search engine. So this is going to be the very first step. And this is going to be the second one. And this is going to be the third one, and this is going to be the fourth one. So 3, 4, 1, 2 is going to be the order for A, B, C, D. All right, so let's cross check. Yeah, C, A, D, B, it says. C. Oh, yes. Yes. Now it's such a practical thing. Yes. You can do both in both manners, but they have proposed this to be done at the second and this to be done at the third. Yeah, much better that way. Right? Log into the computer, connect the internet using the relevant software, connect to the internet, and then open up a search engine, then enter environment conversation. So the part D part gives you 2 marks as well. Here, 0.5 is given. So that is how you are going to take 2 marks for this part as well. So see how much you got out of 10. Okay. Now, is that clear, everyone? Okay, right, Minha, that's a good mark. Right, moving to the sixth question. Tamadi, that's a good mark. The sixth question is talking about the HTML. So now it is kind of a compulsory one when it comes to your paper as well. So you are given the chance to fill the blanks according to the output. So the HTML starts and title text are there in between the one. So one is going to be head. So in between head tags, the open and close are the things which shows health tips, right? So in the title bar, so one is head, and the two, it's going to be, it is inside the body, and yeah, lifestyle based ways to improve your memory. Yeah, it's in bigger fonts, so 3 is going to be H1, right? And 2, of course. And yeah, let's keep the 2 and go forward. Fourth one is going to be IMG, because IMG has the ability of getting SRC and the other attributes. So yeah, it is center aligned. So second one is going to be the center word. All right, and the fifth one, how it's going to be after the, yeah. I think the fifth one is going to be an HR, horizontal line. And the sixth, it's going to be a paragraph. How I can recognize it is as a paragraph? Because this web page has space in between. So that space is created by a paragraph, or otherwise you can start writing the code by putting another paragraph. Right, so the sixth one is a paragraph. Seventh one, again some header tags. So here, either you can use H1 or H2. Hold on a second, people. Okay. So the 5 sample ways, it's going to be H1 or H2 for 7. And the list type is unordered list type, right? So right, and yeah. So the 9th one is list items. The 10th one and the last one, it's going to be href. So href. So that is how the 10 items are being created. And if you got, yeah, they have given, yeah, if you got it correctly, have 0.5 for each correct answer, right? 0.5 for each correct answer. Yeah, got that, everyone? Is that clear? Yes, everyone, is that clear? Yes. No one has tried the HTML. Ah, okay. Ah, okay, someone has. Yes, yes, yes. My bad, my bad. Dulagi, it's the UL, not the OL. I'm sorry. It's not an ordered list. It's an unordered list. Ordered list will give you the numbers from 1 to 10. Yeah, people just excuse me for a second. Yeah. Yes, Dulagi, about your question. Yeah, let me check the marking scheme as well. No, you don't need the angle brackets since they have put the angle brackets. We don't need to write the angle brackets, either the H1 or the H2. Now, yeah, we can't clearly see whether these letters are a little bit smaller or not. Yeah. Yeah, so in the marking scheme, they have taken H2, but it's not very clear whether these two headers are changed from each other. So it may go with both H1 and H2, right? So only the tag name will be enough. You don't need to put the angle brackets, right? So yeah, you can have 0.5 for each correct answer. So 0.5 into 10 will give you the marks. Okay, is that clear, Tulagi? Okay, so moving to the second part. Select from the list given below and write down the most appropriate term or phrase for each of the blank labeled 1 to 5 following sentence. In the following sentence, you are required to write only the label name number and the corresponding term or phrase. Yeah. So for number 1, a blank can be used to properly view HTML file. Yeah, to properly view an HTML file, we can use web browser. So this is going to be number 1. And a file on the web is uniquely identified by using a file on the web. Yes, that is from a URL. So this is going to be the second one. An HTML file can be created by using, here they got web authoring software. So that's going to be the answer. And it can be used by using a text editor as well. And if you want, you can use CMS, content management system as well. But for this moment, it's the third one that we can use. And the fourth one says a blank may contain all hypermedia documents relating to a particular organization. Yes, it's the web server which contains hypermedia documents. And a blank can be used to convert analog signal to digital. Analog signal to digital, that can be done by the modem. Right, so that is for the fifth one. So 1 mark for each correct answer. 1 into 5 will give you 5 marks altogether. So see how much you got out of 5. Out of 10, I'm sorry, out of 10. Very good, Anitra. Binadi, all right. Dulagi, well done, well done. Minha, well done. Okay, great, great people. Yeah, so moving to the last question, the 7th one. A school has 1,000 students. The following pseudocode segment prints the admission number of the student who attend the school every day in a particular year. Draw a flow chart to represent the above pseudocode. Use the same variable names as given in the pseudocode in your flow chart. So it says n equals 0 while n less than 1,000, get admission number, get number of days. If number of days equals 210, then print admission number. And if yes, so it's a simple one. So you can convert this into a flow chart very easily. So you should have a start. And you can straight away go to the n equals 0 process. Then you can go to the condition and I can ask is n less than 1,000, the exact condition. And it says, if it is yes, get admission number. Right, so this is going to be an input. Then get number of days. And then there is a if condition, right? So for that, you need another diamond box. And you should ask the question, is number of days equals 210? right? And if it is years, it says print admission number. So print admission will be in an output box. And in the no path, you don't have anything. So in the no path, it should connect over here. That is important for you to understand. It has only the things which need to be done when the condition is true. And n equals n plus 1 happens after the selection, like once the selection ends, it happens. N equals n plus 1. Then their while ends. So that means after this, you can connect with what? With this place. And from here, which has a no part, this can be managed as end. Right, so this should be the answer. Let us check with the marking schema as well. Yeah. So there you go. So for the correct drawing, you may have 5 marks for this. In case if you got any place wrong, reduce 1 mark for the incorrect places. Right, I'll give you a minute for you to make the arrangement if anything went wrong. And meanwhile, please complete the total marks and let me know as well, people. Yes, how about the total marks, people? For 2015. Oh, Anitra, that's a very good mark. Well done. Keep it up. Bisandi, very good. Keep it up. Learn the mistakes, everyone. Yes, how about others? Okay, others can send me the marks. Tamadi, okay. Little more to catch up. That's a good mark, Dua, right? But it's better you focus on 85, Dua, right? Little more to go, right? Seran, that's a good mark. It's a very good mark. Keep it up. Okay, so meanwhile, I'm going to show you the marking scheme of 2016. Binadi, that's a very good mark. And Dulagi, that's a very good mark. Keep it up. And has everyone done with the 2016? Minha? Yeah, very good, Dua. Keep it up. Has everyone done with the 2016? Right. So let's mark the 216 and let's get sorted out what are the questions that we need to discuss. So this is the 216 marking scheme. So please mark it and send me the incorrect question numbers. Right. So quickly go through people. So if we do it by today, so we can start discussing we can start the discussion by next week. So go through it and mark it and send me the incorrect answers. Incorrect questions, I guess. If someone has not attempted the paper so far, please have a screenshot of the marking scheme and do it and mark it and send me the incorrect question numbers, right? Right, Saran, I received yours, 3, 17, and 20. Dulagi, I received yours, 17, 21, 22, 29, and 36. Okay. Binadi, I received yours, 21, 29, and 31. Okay. Minha, I received yours, 17, 21, 36, 40. Okay. Yeah, wish me. Dulagi, yeah, I'll add the ninth one. Wish me, I receive yours, 16, 17, 19. Okay, as well as 18, 36, and 40. Okay, all right. Onetra, I receive yours, 4, 17, and 37. Okay, it's Januli, Mesanda, and Minul. Only you three need to send me the incorrect questions. Mesanda, yes, 18, 19, and 27. Okay. Minul and Janoli. Only you two need to send me. Okay, generally, so you have to complete the paper, and it's better you have a screenshot of this and mark it and send me the incorrect answers, incorrect questions, right? Minul, are you done with the paper? Or do you want to complete the paper as well? Okay, Minul. So complete it and have the incorrect questions, send it to me, right? So I will add this up to there, right? Okay, so people, since it is 4:27, we'll start the discussion by next week, right? So I have the questions. Januli and Minul, please send me the incorrect questions. So we'll start the discussion by next week for the same time at 3 o'clock, right? Okay, so I will send the marking scheme, photo of a marking scheme to the group as well. So it will be easier for you to mark it, right? So get ready. We'll meet on next week and discuss the things, right? Okay, people. So thank you very much. So I'm going to end the session from this point and have a very nice weekend. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you.